The world dissolved into a roar. First came the tremor, a low groan from the earth's core. Then the ceiling above us surrendered. A chaos of sound and motion swallowed everything. In the crushing dark, the last thing I registered was the warmth of Jasper's hand closing around mine. Silence, thick and suffocating, filled the space where the world had been. Elias, Elias, wake up. His voice cut through the haze. My lungs burned, clogged with the taste of powdered concrete and iron. I was alive. Is this an earthquake? The question felt foolish, hanging in the dusty air. Yeah, Jasper confirmed, his tone flat. He called out for help, his shouts absorbed by the immense weight above us. No one's coming. We're going to die here. Don't say that. I forced the words out, mimicking the reassuring tone he'd used so often to placate me. We're alive. That means there's hope. Stay with me. Rescue will come. A sharp, stabbing pain flared in my chest with each breath, a wet, ragged sound in the confined space. Probably a broken rib, maybe a punctured lung. I focused on breathing shallowly, swallowing a groan. A sliver of pale moonlight found its way through a crack, illuminating the fine dust motes dancing in the air. It fell across his face, highlighting the faint, familiar speck on the bridge of his nose. He blinked, and when his eyes found mine in the half-light, any pretense melted away. A cold, weary resignation settled in his features. I can't keep this up. Not now. It's over, Elias. So it was ending. Here. Before his goal was achieved. Before my own secret could play out. 6 months ago, he'd returned. Jasper had sought me out. His words a careful echo of a past I'd forced myself to bury. Elias, let's start over. I'd known the truth behind his offer. It was a legal, meticulous plot to strip my assets, a revenge years in the making. I'd folded the terminal brain cancer diagnosis deeper into my coat pocket and agreed. This stubborn, brilliant boy had no idea the final joke was on him. Every share, every property, every last dollar was already designated for him in my will. I thought our charade would last until the disease finally won. He would get his revenge and his fortune. I would get the fleeting, cruel comfort of his pretended presence. A mutually assured deception. Now the ground itself had shattered that timeline. Can't be over, I murmured, the words more for myself than him. Not yet. His brow furrowed. What did you say? The pain in my chest spiked, clearing some of the fog. I didn't catch that last part. The dust. It's hard to hear. A humorless sound escaped him. If you had a functioning brain, you'd have figured out you were being played by now. Should I list the ways? The factory we were inspecting? It's mine. The contracts were designed to cripple your liquidity. And that loan? The paperwork was faulty. It's unenforceable. I shut my eyes briefly. That's enough. He wouldn't stop. His voice was detached, clinical. I came back to ruin you. To leave you with nothing. It wasn't because of he stopped himself, then barreled on. There was no other reason. I studied his face, still bearing traces of a younger man beneath the grime and hardened angles. What other reason? I let a weak, teasing smile touch my lips. 6 years and you still couldn't forget me? Hate born from love. You must have cared a great deal. He let out a sharp, derisive laugh. You always did think too highly of yourself. I came back for payback, not for a reunion. Understand? My head throbbed in time with the agony in my ribs. I wanted to beg him to stop, to just keep lying to me a little longer. Just a little more time. Instead, I managed a strained whisper. Understood. A heavy quiet fell between us, filled only by our uneven breathing. I flexed my pinned fingers, a futile gesture. You came all this way, engineered all this. Just because you were angry I didn't love you enough back then? Otherwise, why would you still be holding my hand? Jasper tensed, his arm muscles coiling as he tried to pull away. But before he could, a deep, groaning rumble shuddered through the wreckage around us. An aftershock. He froze, and I bit down on my lip until I tasted copper, riding the wave of fresh, blinding pain. As the tremors subsided, his grip on my hand shifted. "Why is it wet?" he asked, his voice tightening. "Elias, you're bleeding." The shifting debris had widened the gap above him, allowing more of the cold moonlight to spill in, etching his sharp features in silver. I looked at him for a long moment before replying. "Are you worried about me?" He turned his head, and his eyes held a dark, almost gleeful malice. "Of course. I haven't finished the job. I haven't seen you beg. It would be a shame if you checked out early." So that was the final truth. He felt nothing. A strange numbness spread through me, colder than the rubble. Maybe it was better this way. If he didn't care, he wouldn't grieve. The anger would fade when he read the will. "It's probably a broken pipe," I rasped. "My legs are trapped, that's all. The pain is manageable." "Your pain is irrelevant to me," he cut in, his voice devoid of warmth. "Elias, do you have any idea how much I hurt 6 years ago? Did you ever care?" I cared every single day. The memory of his face that last time, the shattered pride, the tremor in his voice, was a permanent fixture in my mind. "I'm sorry," I whispered, the apology utterly inadequate. "Don't be," he shot back, flippant. "I've returned the favor. The way you grit your teeth and bear it, it's been satisfying." Humiliation washed over me, hot and sharp. Was it deliberate? Pushing me like that? Making it hurt? Yes. The word was a blade of ice. Every time, I wanted to mark you, to make you feel a fraction of it. I gave a quiet, broken laugh, thinking of our first kiss in another lifetime. A snowy night in Boston, coming home early to find him in my study, fumbling with a half-smoked cigar he'd stolen. The shock on his face, teaching him how to inhale the shared, dizzying breath. He'd been so careful, trembling against me. "I'm afraid if I breathe too hard, you'll vanish." He'd held me as if I were something fragile and precious. A small cascade of pebbles trickled down from above. Jasper's head jerked up. "Someone's there. We're going to be found." My heart lurched. Footsteps, hesitant and crunching over debris, grew closer. A face appeared in the opening above Jasper. A local woman, her features etched with terror and grief. She called out in a language we didn't understand, then was gone. "Looking for her family," I said, masking my despair. "The rescue teams can't be far. Can you move at all? Any feeling in your limbs?" He was silent for a beat, then strained against the weight. "One side is free. The other is pinned. Use your free hand. See if there's anything useful near you." He groped in the darkness, his movements cautious. "A phone." He managed to extract it. "It has power." But after a few attempts, his hope faded. "No signal. Can't call out. Try the flashlight. Point it through the crack and flash it in a pattern." He obeyed, the beam cutting through the dusty gloom. For a fleeting second, he was the boy I remembered, competent, focused, following my lead. I'd always teased him for it. "You're so good, Jasper." He'd pretend indifference, claiming he was just bored or couldn't sleep, but his ears would turn pink. The blood loss was making me sluggish and cold. He'd be happy once I was gone. He wouldn't miss me, not like I'd missed him. "You'll be happy, Jasper," I murmured, the words slipping out like a dream. "You'll have a good life." He stopped flashing the light abruptly, as if burned. "Don't call me that. It's disgusting. Drop the act. When I get out of here, I'll be the majority shareholder. Then we'll see who's benevolent." Benevolent? Is that what he thought my love had been? A performance? The pain was becoming a distant, thrumming echo. I was fading. Then new sounds. Purposeful scraping. A voice called down in accented English. "Hello? Can you hear me? Rescue is here. Stay calm." Before I could speak, I heard a rapid exchange in Dutch between the rescuers. My grasp of the language was basic, but the meaning was chillingly clear. "The slab is too massive. We can only lift one end. We must hope no one is trapped on the other side, or it will be a terrible choice. Or perhaps the other is already gone. Or perhaps, I thought with a surreal detachment, the person on the other side is already dead. I turned my head slowly, carefully, to look at Jasper. He didn't understand the Dutch. He was answering their questions in clear, concise English, his voice steady. I watched him, memorizing the line of his jaw, the shape of his mouth as he spoke. I remembered another crisis. A snow-slicked highway outside Boston, a truck deliberately boxing us in. The sudden impact, the shriek of metal. A length of steel reeling toward my face. And then Jasper, throwing himself across me. The blood, so much blood, soaking his collar. At the hospital, at home, he wouldn't leave my side. In the dark of my bedroom, his voice had been raw with a fear he couldn't name. If you die, Elias, I swear I'll haunt you. Elias? Wake up. Jasper's voice pulled me back. He was speaking to the rescuers. Wait, there's someone else with me. Elias. Elias. A beam of light swept over my face. I kept my eyes closed. He let out a derisive snort. Giving up the saint routine and playing unconscious now? You can't possibly think that'll make them save you first. I hadn't thought that. I had no intention of going first. The light moved away. They were clearing the rubble above him. Time was slipping through my fingers. I opened my eyes and found his gaze already on me. That time, I breathed, the sound barely audible. In the car crash, when you shielded me, you loved me then, didn't you? He went still for several heartbeats. The Canes took me in for 14 years. It was repayment, a debt. His eyes locked on mine, defiant, challenging. Love you? Never. A strange peace settled over me. Good. That was good. Thank you, I mouthed, no sound emerging. The rescuers were descending into the space beside him now. Sir, we need to use a hydraulic jack on the slab. The release of pressure may cause severe pain. Please try to remain. What are you saying? Jasper's voice turned urgent, sharp. If you lift it on this end, the weight on the other side multiplies. There's a man there. Don't you see him? A pause. We're sorry, sir. With the aftershocks and the gas leaks, heavy machinery is impossible. It's manual extraction only. And the other gentleman appears to be in far worse condition. He's lost significant blood and is unresponsive. That's not true, Jasper shouted, the calm facade cracking. He was conscious moments ago. Where is all this blood? It's not his. Sir, you must stay calm. For your own safety. Elias, he roared, a command laced with panic. Open your eyes. Right now. I held my breath, tears tracing hot paths through the grime on my temples. Jasper, say my name again. But not like that. Please, not like that. His furious tirade broke into a fit of harsh, wet coughing. The rescue team moved faster, positioning the machinery. The jack engaged with a low, metallic hum. Then came the sound. The definitive, wet crack of my own bones giving way. The last air was crushed from my lungs. I clenched my fist, silent. Jasper was staring, his eyes wide and fixed on me. Elias, what game are you playing now? You think this will make me feel sorry for you? I won't. I don't trust you. The jack reached its apex. My body convulsed once, a fresh, hot flood of blood filling my mouth. I opened my eyes and met his gaze. His expression shattered. All the color drained from his face, his eyes widening in horrified comprehension, then flooding with a desperate, shattered red. They had him partially free now, applying a brace, beginning to move him. I felt the pull on my hand. He was still holding on, his grip iron tight. Maybe it was just the paralysis of long entrapment. I gathered the final dregs of my strength and tried to twitch my fingers loose. His hand clamped down harder, a reflex of pure denial. He was shaking his head, a minute, frantic movement. I'd seen that gesture before, in a sunlit bedroom, When I joked that I couldn't keep up with him anymore. "Don't call me that," he'd mumbled into my shoulder, shaking his head just like this. "Stubborn. Needy." He was being pulled away. I looked into his red-rimmed eyes and tried to smile. "It's okay. I was sick anyway. This is how it was supposed to be." I shaped the words with my lips, soundless. My hand slipped from his. The empty chill of the rubble met my skin. It was a soft sound, but Jasper flinched as if struck, a raw, broken noise tearing from his throat. Darkness was a gentle, final tide. His shouts grew distant, muffled. He was moving toward light, toward safety. Good, I thought, the last conscious fragment of myself letting go. He won't be angry anymore. He'll be safe. He'll forget all of this. He'll forget me. Consciousness was a dim, directionless thing. I was aware of movement, of Jasper's frantic, fevered struggles in a medical tent. He fought the orderlies, his leg bleeding through fresh bandages, screaming that I had tricked them, that I had run away. He crawled and stumbled through the dawn-lit devastation, back toward the ruins of the hotel. A rescue worker tried to hold him back. Jasper grabbed the man's vest. "Did he pay you? He paid you to get me out first so he could leave me, didn't he?" The worker looked at him with profound pity. The Dutch volunteer stepped forward, speaking quietly. The worker translated. "Sir, did your friend understand Dutch? We believe he heard our discussion at the site. He knew only one of you could be saved. We believe he chose to let us save you." Jasper stared. Then he began to laugh, a horrible, ragged sound. "No. Impossible." "He wouldn't. He never cared about me. He's making you say this. He's not even in there." He tried to charge past them. They restrained him. "What did you say?" He screamed at the Dutchman. "What did you say to him?" The translation was repeated. At that moment, a call came from the ruins. Another body was being recovered. From a distance, I saw myself lifted out. A broken, bloodied form on a stretcher. Jasper watched, unblinking. He shoved his way forward, falling, crawling the last few feet. He reached my side, his eyes roaming over my still face, the horrific damage to my torso. A worker gently pulled a white sheet over me. Jasper snarled and ripped it away. "What are you doing?" "He's alive." He tried to lift me, but his body failed, and we both collapsed to the ground. My hand fell against him, and from my limp fingers, a small white wireless earbud clattered onto the debris. His breath hitched. "Mine," he whispered, staring at the pristine object. "Why, how do you have this?" I stood behind him, unseen, because I never stopped caring. In the years after I sent him away, he'd refused my money. He worked brutal jobs, lived in a dangerous neighborhood. I'd bought an apartment near his campus and arranged for him to rent it, a circuitous, anonymous charity. The day he moved in, a blizzard raging, I'd watched from behind a giant oak. He'd gotten out of a cab, and this single earbud had fallen from his pocket into the snow. After his light went on in the window, I'd walked over and picked it up. It was the only piece of him I had left. I kept it under my pillow, a secret talisman. On the night of the earthquake, in our haste, we'd switched sides of the bed. I'd taken it from beneath his pillow and held it, a final, silent confession I never meant for him to find. He knelt by my body, refusing to let them take me. His pleas shifted from anger to a child's desperation. "Elias, I'll give it all back. Everything. My company, everything I own. Just wake up. Please. I'll do anything. I'll go anywhere. Please, Elias. Wake up." The summer heat grew oppressive. Men in protective suits approached. "Sir, for public health, remains must be cremated. You need to step away." "No, he's not dead. I'm taking him home." He tried again to stand, to fight them, but infection and fever had taken hold. "Mr. Kane, you're burning up. We need to get you to isolation." They tried to pry his hands from me. He fought with a feral, final strength, a wounded animal guarding its kill. "Jasper, you bastard. The new voice was strained with fury. It was Silas, my vice president. He'd arrived. He hauled Jasper off the ground and struck him across the face. If you have any decency left, let him keep his dignity. Jasper didn't resist. He was a hollow shell, his eyes tracking as my body was finally carried away. Silas dragged him onto a gurney. You got what you wanted. The money, the shares. Wasn't that enough? Why did you need his life too? At the field hospital, Silas stood over Jasper's bed, holding a simple wooden urn. Jasper reached for it, his hand trembling. Silas pulled it back just out of reach. You don't get to touch him. His voice was ice. The only reason you're breathing is because he traded his air for yours. But dying is too easy for you. There are things you don't know. Jasper's dark, fever-glazed eyes focused. What things? Silas let him struggle, watching him fall from the bed, for tearing from his arm. I never understood why he loved you. For years. He sent you away because he was afraid the old guard board members would hurt you. He was protecting you. And then you come back right when he gets his diagnosis. Terminal Jasper. He let you use him, hurt him, all while pretending he was clueless. Do you have any idea what that cost him? Jasper lay on the floor, his body beginning to shake uncontrollably. He came to see me? More than 20 times. The apartment, the anonymous seed money for your startup, all him. You thought he only cared about the bottom line? You were wrong. It was only ever you. The heartless one was always you. Jasper's mind seemed to short-circuit. He replayed our last hours in the rubble, every cruel word he'd spoken. The earbud. He was bleeding. I called him worthless. I said I never loved him. The recitation ended in a wrenching cough, blood speckling his lips. Silas hauled him back onto the mattress. Don't you dare die. That's the easy way out. You're his heir. The entire estate. You're not just yourself anymore, you're his legacy. Don't you dare fail it. Jasper's body spasmed, doctors rushing in. But his gaze never left the urn in Silas's arms. On the private flight home, Jasper, his legs useless, finally spoke. When do I get him back? Silas glanced at the urn. You think you've earned that? You forfeited that right. He studied Jasper's devastated face. You can have him when you've taken the helm. When the company is secure. Okay, Jasper whispered. From his hospital bed, he devoured corporate files. He learned everything. The board's old threats, the full extent of my illness, the paper trail of my silent guardianship. Upon release, he moved into my room, slept in my bed, wore my old sweaters. He changed his number to mine. He studied my life, adopting my routines, my manners. He was trying to become a version of me, or perhaps trying to live the life I'd been denied. In 3 years, under a cold, driven, and joyless leadership, the company went public, dominating its sector. The industry whispered about the formidable, wheelchair-bound CEO who never smiled. The strain was killing him. The insomnia was profound, the medications escalating. He was a bowstring pulled taut, humming with a pain that had no outlet. Wait for me, Elias, he'd plead into the darkness. When he finally fell ill, worn down by the relentless ache, Silas visited, placing the urn on the nightstand. It's time. The company is solid. I'm leaving. Jasper's hand, frail and pale, reached out, not for the company paperwork Silas offered, but to touch the wooden box. No, I just want him. You take it all. I'm done. He drew the urn into the curve of his body, curling around it. A faint, tear-streaked smile touched his lips. It hurt so much, Silas. Every day I feel the weight that was on me shifting onto him. His breathing grew shallow, his body relaxing as he held the urn as he once held me, a final shield. Elias, he breathed, his voice a fading echo. Wait for me. Time lost meaning. Then sensation returned. The smell of rain on hot asphalt. The sound of a city. I was small, confused, standing on a crowded sidewalk, utterly lost. Elias. The voice, laced with desperation and relief, came from behind. I turned. A tall man was running toward me, pushing through the crowd. He looked exhausted, years of worry etched on a face I somehow knew. He dropped to his knees in front of me and pulled me into a tight, careful embrace. His whole body was shaking. "Don't be scared. It's me. I found you." I didn't remember having a brother, but I also felt I'd known him forever. I looked up at his face, at the tiny, familiar speck on the bridge of his nose. I reached out and touched it gently. "Hi," I said. He froze. His eyes, already rimmed with red, spilled over. He pressed his forehead to mine, his voice thick with a profound, weary joy. "Hi," he whispered back, holding me as if he'd never let go. "I found you. I'll always find you. Promise."